Welcome to Stationeers. This is a early access title which at the moment is basically a sandbox game where you are tasked with building a space station on, well, either in space or one of these various different locations. They all have things like gravity, temperature, pressure, solar angle even, which can vastly alter how you have to play the game. Even if you can go outside during the daytime, what the best source of power is. So I'm going with Mars on the Stationeers difficulty, which is a challenging experience as it says there. I'm going to call it Marsbar. Might have to do something about that to make it an official name. And once we load into the world, the first thing any good stationeer will do would be to sort out their inventory. So the lander has loads of things that have been sent with you to basically make survival possible in the first place. So here I'm swapping out anything that I don't really need or don't feel that I need to start with for things that will be, useful and infinitely more productive to me than the things I'm swapping out now. Things like that medical pill is invaluable. We don't want to lose it, but at the same time we don't actually need it right now. Well, fingers crossed we won't need it for a long time, because if you need it, you've been injured. Now, you can take off all of these from the lander, and I've already seen this hill over here. I had a very, very quick look around before I actually started recording this. Very quick, and I said, right, I'm going up the hill. Now, it's a long way from the lander, and being up the top of the hill, you either burn time or jetpack fuel getting up there every time you need to return to base, which sounds like a real pain in the backside. But on the flip side of that, there's two really good things that make a lot of sense, to me anyway. Number one being that you can see the base from miles around, and trust me, it's very easy to get lost out here. And number two is the sun. Now there, I'm just making sure I know which position is north and south, because I want a greenhouse, and a greenhouse on Mars is best south facing to catch the most amount of sun. So here I'm just sorting out a few more things and refining from what I sorted out already into more refinement. And I didn't do a very good job, I'm not going to lie, because later on I have to come back and carry on doing sorting. So this here is kind of like a standard grid for the beginning of any base. It's efficient and it works, which is why people use it. And I don't see any problem with carrying on using it. I'm sure sometime someone might find a more efficient way of doing things. But until then, you don't have to do this. But I do, because, well, there's nothing worse than running out of water and not having any way of hydrating, because you can fudge it on Mars. You can open your helmet and take a quick sip of water and close the helmet again, and it won't destroy your lungs like other planets would. Definitely, it would burn your lungs or kill you instantly. Mars, not so much, but I do feel it's a bit cheesy. Like, it's cheesing the mechanics of the game a bit to do that. So while it can be done, I think it's best not to do it. So this is a panic room, or a starter room at least. It's basically a way of creating an atmosphere that you can control, which is very important. And, well, one thing about this game is you have two hands, and you can only do one thing at a time. That's directly from the tutorial, that sentence. And a lot of the game is actually managing your inventory, which sounds like a really laborious and tedious thing, but if you think about the game and where it's the setting of the game and what it's trying to portray, if that's the right word, then you can kind of understand what it's getting, where it's going. So here I'm basically putting in an early version of a an atmospherics control system. So We don't want to waste all of the gas from our suit, basically. What's going into the waste tank at the moment is a mixture of carbon dioxide and oxygen, both of which are very useful to us. Now, there is carbon on the Martian atmosphere already, so it's not that urgent to be keeping it, but there is oxygen in there, and that can be filtered out later to basically keep us alive, which I feel it's much better to just save as much as we can. And you'll see the same thing. I apply the same principle to the furnace later on, another gas producing building, basically. So the first thing you're going to run out of isn't actually hydration, it's power. So the best thing to be doing is, now I've got the panic room set up, I'm going to be creating some kind of a solar, I'm going to create a solar setup just to get us off the ground, so we can recharge the suit battery when it's time, because that doesn't last forever. We do get batteries on the lander, but they don't last forever, and well, it's just always good to be able to recharge. Now, at the moment, inventory management, not just in your inventory, but in where you put things. Like, it's very easy to lose a tool, and if you lose a tool, it doesn't always go very well. Now, I decided that actually I didn't want to have that there. So yes, you have to use a tool to remove the item, and I just scooched it over by one, which doesn't seem like a very big problem to the untrained eye, but actually when I come to put a locker in, it will be. So I've actually lost the lander at this point, and I'm looking around, and you will see around on the floor, or it's sticking out of the ground, should I say. There's a lander, right? I'm just getting my bearings. You'll see lumps of various different colours and textures sticking out the ground. They're minerals and ices that we can mine, which we will get to very shortly. And in the early game, mining is like the big grind of the game. You need the minerals to create stuff. But the next thing I'm going for here at the lander is oxygen, because, well, when we come to take a sip of drink, which we're going to have to do, well, we're at 60% now, so we're not doing too badly. I just thought, while we got some light, it might be an idea to find the lander and go and get that. So now, Mars is actually quite a easy planet by comparison to, let's say, Venus, because you actually have loads of ices lying around the place. So you have oxygen, volatiles, and nitrogen, which is a fairly recent addition to the game, all just sitting around on the surface to be mined. So it's not quite as urgent as, let's say, Venus, where you have to actually plant.
Power critical.
Whoops. Where you actually have to plant plants in order to create oxygen from carbon dioxide. So this is a really easy planet by comparison. Now, I'm not saying that Stationeers difficulty is easy, hence why I'm actually recording this without any speech and then talking over it, voicing over it, which is a first for me. I'm not going to lie. This is my first time editing a playthrough. I've done editing other things before, but not gaming. So, but I just felt that I did actually do a couple of. I did start a series with doing talking while playing, and trust me, I found it very, very stressful to try and entertain and to think about what I'm doing next. So I'm taking the time to actually make a series which has editing. So one thing with this game, unlike, let's say, not Station, I can't even think of the name. There's another one I play, which has a grid system, which is powered. Once you power the grid, everything's powered. And yeah, whoops, that was a mistake there. No, this way you have to wire things up. Now, the most important thing to do, really, once you've got somewhere to eat and drink, is to start producing more equipment. Now the way to do that is with the auto lathe, which is essentially a advanced 3D printer. Now I realise I'm probably going to need to get some more stuff from the lander, and it looks like I'm going to do a bit of mining actually. No, not lander, mining. Yes, because the auto lathe is being set up, I'm like, okay, we're going to need iron sheets, we're going to need iron frames to continue building out this base. So while we've got night coming and there won't be much to do in terms of finding ores, I might as well go and find some to start with. Now I am going to show you how to do mining a bit better as we go into the playthrough. It'll be probably this episode or next episode. At the moment this is just surface mining where you look for easy ore, and well, unfortunately there is a bit of a bug at the moment, a visual bug, which doesn't seem to have gone away with the latest rendition of the game, where you can kind of see it flashes up with the name of the thing you're looking at through the rock, which is a bit annoying, but look, I've never made a game, so I can't really have a comment on why that's still a problem and how easy or difficult it might be to fix it. But anyway, here is the arc furnace, which basically it smelts basic ores, so takes the basic ore and turns it into its ingot. So that's on its way nicely, and meanwhile we got to actually build the computer as well, which it's always the same basic things. So it seems really daunting at first, but once you get the hang of things, everything becomes a lot easier, and you don't really want to lose your tools. I was actually filming this not at my own house either, so I do get distracted a couple of times by people coming and talking to me, which isn't a problem, but yeah, this is very much a game where you need to focus. Anyway, so here we are with the plastic sheets, and now we just need a screwdriver to finish it off, and hey presto, we have an auto lathe. Now, I was aiming to get the gas system sorted before my first drink, but I don't think I managed to do that. We'll see. I've filmed a few episodes worth of footage now, and I'm going to edit them. Now, I will start doing jump cuts because you don't want to watch the whole thing. I can just fast forward things. I've seen other YouTubers do it in various ways. So here I am looking for the electronics printer, and it requires iron, gold and copper. Gold and copper I simply don't have, so there's no point trying to get the electronic printer up right now. Electronics printers useful for various electronical things, obviously, as the name suggests. I also build that a bit too early because actually what I really want right now is a pipe bender, and the reason being that will give me the vents that I need in order to better control what's going on in my little panic room, as I like to call it. But not to worry, because I can show you another technique that can be used to do the same kind of thing. It's a little bit longer winded. So there I'm getting copper. I've seen some silicon in the ground there. I don't feel like I need it right now, but I am looking for gold. Now at this time of night it is a bit difficult to see. Obviously you probably can't see the outline of the hills in the foreground of the sky. You can see the stars, and there's a dead zone of darkness. Now I am familiar enough with the game to be able to look at that hill on the right there and know it's a hill, basically, because you can see there, like it's dark. As I get close with the light, you can see it's actually got terrain. So, oh, there's some iron. Do I stop for it? No, I don't. There's some coal. I didn't stop for that either. At the moment, I'm looking for gold. I want to get this printer because I'm thinking I need it before I get to... And it's going to happen any minute now, hydration critical.
Hydration critical.
Right on cue. So now it's like you've got that alarm which doesn't really go away. I don't even know there's a way to turn it off, to be honest with you. Would I want to or not? I really don't know. Would I like to change the threshold of it? Maybe. I don't know. But there's some gold. Well, hey. Right. Let's get to mining that. And at least we can be putting things to smelt while I hopefully go and get a drink. So yeah, I've seen some YouTubers speed up the mining process and still like maybe do a bit of talking through it, but it's being on there and you can actually view it. So it's basically him going, look, I'm not cheating. And then there's another guy who actually cuts the whole thing out and just comes back with the ores, and you see him leave, you see him come back, and we all just accept that he went and mined it. I don't know which. I don't really have a preference. Like for me, editing that and making it a thing isn't gonna be any skin off my nose to cut it out or to fast forward it. I really couldn't actually care less. Now I knew there was a bit more gold down there, but I'm thinking, right, I've got 12%. I need to head back now. That's probably more important than anything else. So stick the gold in. It takes quite a... Oh no, it's not the... I don't know. It's... Yeah, I'm still thinking that I can get vents from the electronic printer, and I only realise afterwards and go, oh, that's not what I wanted. And then relent to having to do it a different way. But you can kind of stop, get the ingots out that you've made so far and put it back to work again. So it's a thing. While we're waiting, I decided, oh look, a bit more iron. That was useful. But I decided to start clearing the way for a few more frames. Now, there is a way you can press F and just swap things out to a slot, but I almost wish there was another way of doing that. I decided there, I changed my mind. I forced the thought, turn off and save the power, then I thought, actually we'll keep smelting. Probably going to need it for the active vent. Oh. And these do take quite a time, so at this point I go, right, we have no choice, we have to do this. So this is basically a tank. And then this one, for all intents and purposes, is also going to be a tank until we get a vent. Basically, that pipe network will store the gases. So okay, that's on, off, that's open. And that huffing and puffing means he's losing health. Now you can press the arrow key to make sure it only does one other thing. So hold on, which way did I go there? Yep, that's closed, that's open. So that sucks up. Hold on, I did it the wrong way. Did I do that the wrong way? Anyway, that's releasing oxygen into the room. Now you need to have over 20 kilopascals in order to be breathable, and a certain percentage of oxygen. Now I honestly thought I was being clever by putting that dual system in. Now I can open the helmet. Turned off the oxygen and stuff because don't need it to be running while I'm breathing. Now I can't get to the stuff I threw in there, so I have to juggle this stuff. And get very frustrated because I'm also losing health. There we go. Take a nice deep sip of water. and have a bite to eat. Right, that's that done. Okay, no, I was doing the right thing. That one's red, that one's green. Brilliant. So I decide to take out any gas left in that pipe by removing that. I should force it out the other way. Then I put this back in. Close the helmet, obviously. Suck that back.
Oxygen low. Oxygen critical.
All of the gas out. Remember to turn back on the suit, and that's in that pipe now. So we open that valve, get rid of that pipe, which would force it into the network. Close that pipe, and we've reset the gas in that pipe. At least that's the theory. And just to see, that definitely worked. But I have got NO2 and X in there somehow, which is trace amounts, but look, it is what it is. I'm not going to worry too much. Right, save power, turn that off. Let's put down the tool kit. Make sure we got a base for it. Might as well put some more base down. Just right clicking on when you've got a tool in your hand that's got an on and off, basically toggles it on and off. Very handy to know. Right, so we want a good old distance from the previous printer, so there looks about good. Now, wire can be placed down without wire cutters in hand if it's not actually splicing into another wire, which is kind of handy. Not everyone knows that. Now, I always turn off the torch in between different things because it just saves a bit more fuel, and you can run out of fuel for that. But thankfully later on you can get a better arc welder which runs on electricity rather than fuel in that one. Now the fuel mix is a oxygen volatile ratio. So now I'm going for the hydraulic. I don't even think I had to try building anything in there before I realised actually that's not the one I wanted. But oh well, it's there now, which we're gonna need all of the printers eventually, so might as well make another solar panel while we're here. But we're gonna need more of everything. So this is the early game grind. So at this stage I know I need to go out and collect some more ores, so I'm basically waiting for this to finish so that I can put on another and go out and get on with what we need to get done. Another thing that makes Mars very easy by comparison to other places is the daytime temperature is actually a balmy 20 degrees Celsius, whereas on Vulcan it's several hundred. Venus, it doesn't matter, it's always hot, but Vulcan, the daytime temperature is so hot you don't really want to go outside. The great thing about Vulcan is that the landscape itself is quite bright, so you can still see the ores fairly well. And later on in the game there's actually sensor glasses that help you see ores, and you can go day, night, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But in the early game it does help, on Mars at least, and any of the starting locations where you have daylight, it does help to be able to see the ores much clearer. As you can see, when we were running around at night, you can barely see in front of your face, whereas now I can see for miles around in every direction. So grabbing some more ores and then considering what do I need to bring up with me next. Make sure that the tools go back in their correct places. And I know from previous experience that residential supplies is a really good one to have bringing up at this early stage, even because it has lockers in, and lockers can be very important. So if that looked like lead, just making a note of that for later in my head. And I've forgotten something. So I dropped everything to run back down and grab what I've forgotten, which I believe is the batteries. I won't be in food. It's not in there, although that does have a battery, so I'll take you. And that has a battery and is useful, so I'll take you. And there's our batteries. Now, I've got no space, but what I could do is... Nope, that's got everything it needs. I didn't do it. What I could have done there, and what I usually do, is throw the labeler into the mining belt and take out the pickaxe and put it somewhere else, because I use a labeler slightly more often than I use the pickaxe. I mean, I've used the labeler a few times in every playthrough. I don't think I've ever used the pickaxe. I don't even know what it's there for. Is it there because you might run out of battery for your mining drill, or is there a special needs case? I don't know. But anyway, there's loads of water in here, which is brilliant. There's a bit of food in there, which is great. And a few batteries, which is always good. And I like to put them somewhere safe, as in a charger. They don't need to live there, but they do in my playthroughs. So we've got some more ores, so we're going to get on with that. We got some lovely ingots here, which we're going to throw into a printer. And now we can make the hydraulic pipe bender, which is another useful little printer. Right, time to sort out our inventory with a locker. So there's various ways to rotate. You can use the home, insert, delete, page up, page down keys, or you can just press C, which in my world is a bit easier. Maybe as I play on further I will reconsider that, but for now... then I remembered to put it in there. Yes, well, I could have done that down at the lander. Oh well. Well, the locker is a little bit too close to the arc furnace, which I believe I'll move eventually, so it still needed to be moved again. So for now, we're kind of just getting everything sorted out as best as possible, because there will be a storm. We don't know when. Within usually around the first week mark, and I want to make sure that everything is secure before that happens, because there's nothing worse than losing a bunch of stuff to the storm. I have had it happen in the past, and in being honest with you, I've reloaded because I didn't want to lose all of the stuff. It's not fun. I got a dead space there, but which is no good. I'll worry about that later when I move the arc furnace. And yeah, just looking at the various options here that I can't use. Then back to putting everything away that we don't need right now, but we will need these eventually. Some things more and more often than others, but eventually everything will be used. I don't know why I closed the door there. It's, I guess, a force of habit. Right, what else have we got? A couple more things, and then these crates are empty and everything is filed away safely in case of storm. So now we can actually take these crates down. It looks like I decided to move the arc. Oh no, I didn't move the arc furnace, I just stuck in some silicon. Geometric wall? Is that what? No. There we go. Hydraulic pipe bender. Put that somewhere safe while we figure out somewhere to put it. Throw that in there. Save some power. Why have I not put the crates away? I thought that's what I was going to do next. Oh well. And the sun's gone down, which... well, not good for mining, but, you know, sun has to go down every day. I think I am in the middle of moving that. Right. It has been a day or two since I actually recorded this, so... now I'm going to look for a suitable break in the workflow before I end the episode. So that I'm not going to try and aim for a set time. Yep, I definitely, that is me moving it to get access to the locker. Right, I can stand there and put that there, and I'll be able to actually stand there and look at my locker. That's the thinking there. And you know, a lot of these things are not permanent. They're not always going to be in the place that they're in now. Some things will be, and you don't want to keep moving things around. Some things won't be. It just all depends. So, and keep our wires nice and tidy. That's good. And next we want to pop down the hydraulic pipe bender, and then we will probably look at making well, we're going to need more cables, so also going to need more iron sheets as time goes on. So get to making them. Now, the annoying thing about these machines is that without a stacker on them, they basically just throw everything on the floor, which can be really good and can be really bad. Okay, that looks like enough cables for the time being. And now we're finally going to get round to dismantling the crates. Throw them up in the locker.
Hydration critical.
And yeah, that is the bane of the life of a stationeer, is having to keep your thirst bar filled. Now, there are mods which can alter that, but I'm playing a completely unmodified version of the game and intend to keep it that way for the foreseeable future. At least for this playthrough anyway. So, sticking another chunk of ore in, Totally forgetting about the power I'm wasting with the printer being left on. You know, the usual. Happens to everybody. Still finding it hard to squeeze round the back there, but not impossible. Right, now think I'm going for, yep, passive vent. Which at least allows us a partial and you can see all the air rushing out from the previous times that we've evacuated. Now I need other bits and pieces, so gonna go for them. Again, 2 hands. It's awkward at times. Okay, I obviously left the printer on for a reason. Right, just keeping everything safe from potential storms. Right, turn that off. Hold on, what are you doing? Exactly. But still forgot to turn off the arc furnace. But, you know, it is what it is. No, wrong one. Yep, that's the one. No. Yes, that's correct, yep. So let the gas out that way. Bring the gas back in. Forgot to actually clear out the rest of that pipe, but, you know, it is what it is. In the height of the moment, when you're really thirsty and your suit's warning you, it is what it is. And, you know, we can filter out the pollutants later on. It's not a huge issue. So, because I'm sick and tired, or sick to death, one or the other, choose one or the other, of just basically having to juggle valves and pipes the whole time. The time has come to put in separate individual what do they call them again? Active vents for air we want to keep and air that we want to expel. Right, that's a bit more micromanagement that we can get rid of. Now, the whole game is basically about cutting down on micromanagement more and more and more. Automating things, making things more effective.
Oxygen low.
Yeah, I don't even know why I did that.
Critical.
That's why I did that. I thought my helmet was open clearly, but I've opened it now, so we're all good. And that's
Oxygen low. Oxygen critical.
that. Now, very often I like to open the canister while the vent's on, just to suck that last little bit out of the canister and out of the whole room. Put it into storage. Ooh, not doing very good on... that's a new battery in, so... And... now we need to refill the...
Air tank critical.
air tank. There we go. That'll keep us going a bit longer. Now, you and you are coming out to the locker. And we're just in time for the sun to rise. This looks like day number 3. So that should get us a bit more sunlight. Speaking of sunlight, we're back to trying to make that solar panel. Yeah, well, there's not much I can do about that, love, because the battery on the wall isn't doing much better. So we need to get this solar panel in pretty pronto. So I've started that. And we're also going to need some some cabling. Don't even know why. Well, maybe I wouldn't, but I thought I probably should. Oh no, I won't. Or will I? No, we want it facing the morning sun at an angle to catch the most daylight. So that's where it's going to live. And yep, should have done the cable while I was down here, but hey, we can do it now. That's not a problem. And also we're going to need the glass for the panel face, which is always useful. And a little technique you can do is to grab the item that you want to... Well, you're going to put a tool in, but you've already got an item in your inventory slot. So you grab the tool, you put that in your inventory slot, then you grab the tool to the hand, and it automatically puts the item in the backpack. It's just an easy way of getting stuff around the place. Now I'm just making sure that's actually charging. Then I decided to put it in that APC, so it... I don't know why I believe APCs are better, it's just what I did. So, we have a bit of cable, and we always need cables, so that's not too much at all. Okay, well, that's our little base. I think this is probably a good time to end the episode. I'm just about to go out and do some much needed mining, and I will cover that at the beginning of the next episode. So, thanks for joining me as always. I will hopefully see you again next time. I just realised I forgot something back at the base, so I've got to go all the way back now and pick up what that is. So, until next time, ciao for now.